It's about to get very Criminal Minds up in here. Hi guys, and welcome to another Mental Monday. So this week I actually have a really fun one. Well, fun for me to talk about because it is what got me into psychology from the beginning. This week we're going to look at psychopathy and sociopathy together. We're going to look at both because they're very similar, but they do have differences. So we're going to look at what makes a sociopath and what makes a psychopath. It's about to get very Criminal Minds up in here. So I have an article by Psychology Today up on my phone, and I want to start by what their similarities are. That's kind of the key to why somebody would be classified as a sociopath or a psychopath. So the commonalities are a disregard for laws and social morals, a disregard for the rights of others, a failure to feel remorse or guilt, and a tendency to display violent behavior. So the article makes a point that a lot of psychologists use the two interchangeably, and that's not actually fully correct because there are distinct differences outside of the similarities. But for the means of wanting to compare the two, we're going to do it in one video, and I wanted to use Criminal Minds as a vehicle to talk about it with. I love that show, and it's actually really what got me into psychology as far as my specific master's degree I'm going for, which is in behavioral analysis. So if you've ever watched Criminal Minds, you know they are the BAU, Behavioral Analysis Unit. Dr. Reed, has his doctorate in behavioral analysis. So there's one level that's master's in behavioral analysis, or in psychology really, because you can specialize it to any department of psychology, but you need a master's to be a certified psychologist. Once you get to master's, you can either take it up to a doctorate or leave it at master's, and you can work in the field with just a master's. But he has a doctorate in it, meaning he went through crazy amounts of school to get that. If you watch the show, you know it didn't take him that long because he started young. These are the kinds of differences in the behavioral patterns they're looking for that specify what personality type someone is, what they might be classified as, that can help them give a profile to catch that person. Psychopath and sociopath are the most related diagnoses connected to crime. Because if you're a psychopath or a sociopath, you are able to commit violent crimes with no remorse. You don't feel bad for doing it. You have no empathetic capacity. So you are not able to understand the pain you're causing the other person. And sometimes actually they feed off of doing that. In psychology, there is a famed quiz that is the psychopath quiz that, depending on how you answer, however many questions there are, there's not that many questions, I don't think. However you answer these questions determines if you're a psychopath or not. So your history a little bit and your empathetic capacity, your ability to feel remorse or guilt or empathy towards another person. One of the questions is, did you have fun killing little bugs when you were a kid? That is something that, while in some instances maybe slightly more innocent, can be a tell if it's a substantial enough habit that there might not be any empathetic capacity, and that person could easily turn into a psychopath because they have that in their brain functioning already to be able to commit violence and feel nothing. Not to say that everybody that's ever killed a bug or killed a bug when they were little is going to turn into a psychopath and a serial killer, but that's just the idea behind that question, is testing your empathetic capacity. The article makes the argument that sociopaths can form attachments, they are very disorganized, and their crimes are most likely not planned. On the other hand, it says psychopaths have no ability to form an emotional attachment, are very planned and organized, while sociopaths are going to be seen by society as disturbed and probably not the most likable person. Psychopaths actually usually have a very disarming and charming personality. Case in point, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was a very liked man. He was very handsome. The girls melted at him. And then he killed them. That was his way of getting those opportunities to commit the murders he committed. He had them flock to him. He was able to charm them. He was handsome. He was able to use that to get them to put themselves in a compromising position and then take advantage of that compromising position. For sociopath, don't quote me on this, but I would vote Jeffrey Dahmer. Probably was a sociopath and not a psychopath because he didn't have anybody he was close to. He was very into himself. He was very cut off from people. He was not somebody people were saying, that's so shocking, he was such a nice guy, whereas Ted Bundy was. Everybody that heard Ted Bundy was a murderer after he was arrested was surprised and never would have thought he was somebody that would do something like that. Just to give two examples. The reason I brought up Criminal Minds is that's the whole basis of the show, is they're chasing down not just serial killers, but serial criminals. Can be a serial rapist, serial killer, serial arsonist, any serial criminal that goes throughout the US, they chase down. And they do that by looking at the behaviors that the psychopath and sociopath profile exemplify the best as far as behavioral patterns, showing that behind the scenes. So psychopaths being able to commit those crimes with no remorse or guilt. That's something that you can see in past behavior. That's something that you can tell. Is their thinking organized, disorganized? And all of it is it makes it a lot easier to look at and understand. That and it being one of my favorite shows, I thought I'd bring it up. It was why I got into psychology. I started out watching NCIS and I thought I wanted to be Abby and do like all the DNA testing and all of the evidence stuff and all of that sort of thing. And then I watched Criminal Minds, and not even halfway through the first episode I go, okay, no, I want to do that. That is the part I want to play. I've kind of never looked back. That really showed me why I wanted to do it, like why I was interested in it. It's such a good show. So I thought this was the perfect video to talk about it also. So if you are into studying this type of thing, leave a comment, let me know what you think about my theory about Jeffrey Dahmer. I truly think probably sociopath over psychopath. But let me know what you think. I would love to hear any questions, comments, discussion. I would just love to hear from you guys. See what you guys think. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I hope it was interesting to you like it is to me. Share it with other people you think will find it interesting. If you are not already subscribed, click the screen and subscribe so you can see when the next video comes out. I will see you guys in that one. Bye!